Hello, I am Pat Gillum-Sams, the founder and CEO of the Sister Covenant. What is the Sister Covenant? It is a platform for purposed and powerful women to empower and inspire other powerful women of color. Black women are resilient. We nurture the world, our families, our spouses, our children, our communities, the boardroom, and everything in between. But who fills our cup? I often am reminded of when we fly, we're told to put our oxygen mask on first. And that is what the Sister Covenant is all about. It's a safe space for authentic dialogue between sisters, my friends, your friends, all of our friends, coming together for a time such as this. Join me Sunday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, first, third, and fifth Sundays for the Sister Covenant, a safe space to laugh a lot, cry a little, and fill your cup. Good morning, great Sunday morning. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. It is amazing that we are here, but we are so blessed. And on behalf of the entire Sister Covenant staff, I am humbled to be in your home. And I think this is the third New Year's Day that we have spent with you. So thank you for spending it with us. And thank you for continuing to be on this journey. Not just spending your time on a Sunday morning, first, third, and fifth Sunday for no purpose, but being empowered, being enlightened, and receiving knowledge that hopefully you can share with others. So we encourage you, we beseech you to share what you get, those nuggets you gain by being here with us on first, third, and fifth Sundays here at the Sister Covenant. You can go back and watch or share any of our podcasts. Back to our first one on November 1st, 2020. They live on YouTube, Facebook, and any of the podcast platforms that you normally get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. So please share that knowledge and empower all of the women, all of the sisters in your circle. We encourage you to be a part of the Sister Circle so we can push information out to you. It's really easy. All you have to do is open Facebook or your smartphone or computer, search the Sister Covenant, find the Groups tab, click on the group title, the Sister Circle, click Join the Group, and your requests will be accepted shortly. That is the way you will stay in the know with the Sister Covenant. Also, we are so excited to launch our 2023 sponsorship campaign with all of my sisters. Those that you've seen in our videos at the front of the podcast, and those friends, those sorority sisters and ride or die sisters for 20, 30, 40 years. Please contact us at keepers at the Sister Covenant. If you want to join us being a sister's keeper or a sustaining sister, join us in empowering women all around the country. I want to share the names of our sisters keepers and our sustaining sisters that again have been with us over the journey. This month, January, we will have the Sister Accord, and you will hear from my dear sister, Sonia Jackson Miles, here in a moment, talking to you about the Sister Accord. But of course, we have Brenda Jackson, New York Times bestselling author, who is one of our sisters keepers. Brown Girls in the Boardroom, Melissa Fulmore Hardwick, who is a dear, dear friend of mine and the founder of Brown Girls in the Boardroom. Sister Accord, Sonia Jackson Miles, who you will hear from here momentarily. And of course, my own heart, the Legacy Group, featuring the Legacy League. So now, join me as we hear from, again, my dear friend who was with us just last month talking about random acts of kindness. Let's hear from Sonia Jackson Miles and the Sister Accord.
When a young girl finally realizes her value, when a woman finally realizes her value, the whole world, all of our communities, our families will be healed and move to that next level of excellence.
Sunshine when it hurts and when nothing seems to work. I got sunshine, yeah. Do you see the sunshine? Let me hear you say.
Just a beautiful, beautiful soul and doing some amazing work here all over the continent, but also outside of America, doing major work all over the world. And again, those sustaining sisters, my ride or die, those ladies are my heart. And I thank you, thank you, thank you. There they are right there on the screen. Again, Sisters for Life. Now, I am over the moon excited. I have a new friend, someone who was introduced to me by our own resident physician, Dr. Anita Petway Tyler, a friend, a dear friend of hers, who we're going to be talking today about something that is super important, our mental health as well as our whole health, our wellness. So I want to introduce you to Gabrielle Carey Johnson. Gabrielle Carey Johnson is a licensed mental health counselor specializing in infant and maternal mental health, specifically in the Afro Caribbean community down in Miami, my hometown. So, super excited to connect with her. She has been in South Florida with Gabby Cares of South Florida for some 10 years. And we are specifically talking to her about mindfulness and what that does for us, not just in the new year when we make these resolutions, but all year long. So help me welcome Gabby, as I affectionately have grown to call her, to the Sister Covenant. Hello, beautiful.
Good morning.
Happy
Good
New
morning.
Year.
Happy New Year.
So we must confess, we are not on the new year just yet. We're a couple of days shy,
Almost
and
there.
we're just a couple of days. And you are so gracious. You and your family have spent Christmas holiday on the West Coast. Hopefully, having a little R&R, but I know you're stressed right now because it's very early, and your family has all said, "Listen, Mom, we're tired. You've drugged us across the country, so we're gonna rest, but you are with
We're
us."
resting, yes.
That's sacrifice, and I thank you for that.
Of course, of course. Wouldn't have missed it. Wouldn't have missed it. Mm.
So, Gabby, as we've talked behind the stage and as we were prepping for this conversation, we are in this
Mhm.
time of the year where we have spent too much money, probably. We've had a lot of celebrations and, we've extended ourselves in lots of different ways. And of course, a lot of it is good. Sometimes people are a little sad around this time of year,
Mhm.
and others look to
Mhm.
the new year and say, okay, I'll start it and I'll make these resolutions. I told you I'm going to lose weight and we're going to save more money and we're going to do all of these things. But
Mhm.
how does that maybe play out in some negative ways when we set ourselves up like that? Talk to us from your vantage point about what is sustainable and really what is a lifestyle change versus a resolution.
The first thing that popped in my mind was having those negative self-talks and thoughts that we constantly have sometimes when we're kind of more judgmental of ourselves, thinking that everybody else is privy to these ideas and thoughts we have, or these preconceived notions that we have about ourselves, when it's really just the pressures we put on ourselves. And I know I said ourselves a lot, but I guess the thing is to tie in the mindfulness that we kind of discussed. There was one quote from this one writer, and it said, mindfulness is being aware of what is happening right now without wishing it were different. And often we always think about the grass is greener on the other side instead of just trying to stay present with what's going on right now, being grateful, learning from those experiences, learning from life itself, because it does throw these curveballs at you where you're just like, Lord, what just happened? And I know that's not what I asked for, but it's about just being patient, allowing yourself with a little bit of grace. So if you have on your board that you want to lose 30 pounds in this new year, what are some small things you can do to get to those 30 pounds? And does it need to be 30 pounds within the first month, or is it 30 pounds over the next 12 months? But we also know that it is about a lifestyle change. So is it changing up our diet? Is it adding and incorporating walks in there? Is it spending more time and just going to the beach with your children and just letting them play and you walk with them and you getting more active? So it's just finding little pockets of things that you can change, just small changes.
Gabby, you said something in there that I picked up on grace. I think we
Hmm.
sometimes, and I'll just speak for myself, we beat ourselves up. We
Hmm.
go out to dinner and we said we wanted to lose the weight. I want to lose weight, but I go out to a favorite place with my friends, my girlfriends, and I walk away having eaten double or more than what I should have, or I feel I should have, or I had that chocolate cake and wine, whatever it is, and now I'm feeling guilty. So what's the point? Grace. How can we
Hmm.
really genuinely say, I have tomorrow? How do I build in grace? How do I again make it a sustainable event as opposed to a one-time event? I got to check this box, and if I didn't check it correctly, I've missed the mark.
To me, it's honestly just slowing down and realizing that mistakes happen, slip ups happen. I think the main thing that popped up was, you know how when your children are learning how to pour milk into a cup and they knock over the cup, and it's either you're going to be super pissed or you're going to say, oh, this is a learning moment and this is what you should do differently. If you are beating yourself up about, or you're just not even beating yourself up, just coming down a little hard on, girl, you shouldn't have had that chocolate cake at dinner. Just reminding yourself that it did bring you pleasure. It did, it did make you feel some kind of way at that moment. And maybe next time it's not eating the whole cake, you share it with your girlfriends. Or maybe it's instead of having both choosing one or the other, but still saying that, you know what, you're still on the right track to doing or accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish.
I've said here often, and probably the last couple of Januaries, certainly this past May, with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, I've
Hmm.
featured um, individuals such as yourself to talk to us about mental health and wellness. When I think about where we are in our country and the negative rhetoric that we hear all the time, it can be so overwhelming and draining.
Hmm.
What what suggestions? We talk about it, but we kind of throw our hands up and say, I can't do anything. I can't help this situation. We see more suicides, or maybe they're not more. I don't know the statistics, but it seems like they're more, it's an epidemic in my mind, and that's what I've labeled it in our
Hmm.
community more than I've ever known. Certainly not when I was 20, 30 years old. And that's what I'm seeing, a lot of younger individuals just be at a place of hopelessness. Tell us what
Hmm.
tips, what tactics. You talked about everything from maybe walking on the beach with your little one, but if I'm 20, 30 years old and life is happening and it's happening quickly, what do you say to those family members that are just seemingly not able to manage it all?
I do see that there is a new, I don't want to say trend. It is a higher number right now. I think because of following COVID and then the access compared to a couple years ago, everything is being shown on the social media. Oh my gosh. And I said the social media because it is the social media. Um, I don't think, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but as far as the suicide rates in our communities, but I will say that we got to let go of this. hmm, Not pride, not ego, but allowing others to help, allowing others to be there for you. And even if you can't, finding a way that you're able to open up to somebody you do trust, somebody you do care about. And the people receiving it have to be open to hearing it as well. And I know that is very, very, that could be a lot, right? That could be hard for a lot of us. But some of those things that I do say is rest. I've had a couple of clients where it was too much. I had one in particular that I'm thinking of. Um, she had just lost her father, very hard. Work was another thing. In your mind, you think by 30 you'll be married with children, and that wasn't the case for her. So it was really hard, very deep depression and so forth. And it really was about this pride that she had of, no, I have to keep going, and realizing, no, you don't. You need to slow down. You need to listen to your body. A lot of times the headaches will come in, the backaches will come in, the aches and pains, the physical aches and pains because of your emotional aches and pains. And it's really about just slowing down, taking time off. You got FMLA. I tell people all the time, use it. Use it, use it, use it. Even if it is that you want to just lay in bed for a little bit, watch some TV, do some therapy, go to church, whatever your vice is as far as support. And if it is that you need to go back home and be around loved ones, people that actually care about you, and just hear what they're saying. With this one particular client, she did go on a vacation and was able to just reset a little bit. We did some, I gave her some meditations to follow. Um, what else? A lot of journaling, some worksheets, and we just checked in from time to time just to make sure things were good. And she's back on track now. But again, I tell people this: life is like the ocean; it comes in waves. And the tools that you learn and you pick up, you have to be able to reuse them when those new waves come in, because they will.
Thank you, Gabby. So you recently had the opportunity to present at a conference, the
Hmm.
Hookup Conference around adolescence culture, and one of your featured topics dealt with domestic violence in
Hmm.
relationships. And we heard during COVID that too was up, domestic violence, because people were home and people were together
Hmm.
and not necessarily were always in the same space. I know at the height of COVID, when we literally shut down the world almost 3 years ago, which is hard to even fathom that it's been
You're
3 years
right.
that we have kind of been here. My two college age sons at the time came home. My husband was here working. We were all working. And if trying to be on Zoom meetings in one space isn't enough, it's all of it. It's managing all of it. Um, Tell us about that. We don't like to talk about that subject so much in the public, right? That's a little secret we keep. Help us about that topic, domestic violence.
Um, Domestic violence and intimate partner violence are two things that I kind of did research a little bit in the beginning of my program. But the biggest takeaway is safety, making sure that you're aligned, understanding that if you do have family and friends and loved ones that are in those type of situations, pull away from the judgment, pull away from the, oh, you should do this because of I wouldn't have done that. And if I was in your shoes and so forth. You don't really understand the complexities of those type of relationships. It's really about just building the individual, and that can be the man or the female. Um, Building support, loving them, showing them that there is a better way about it, devising a plan on how to get out. A lot of times, if there are children involved, if it's money involved, it is hard on both ends for them to just pull away from the relationship because there is a love there. And I say a love because I mean it as exactly as it is. It's a love. It's a type of love, regardless if it's good or bad. It is a type of love. So understanding that a little bit. But for those in those type of situations, I do push for, pulling away or getting out, or even if they are able to come to some type of resolve within couples therapy. It just depends on the severity of it. Um, but that is a taboo that's in our community. We don't talk about as much. And I do want us to speak more on it in the future for sure. But yeah.
So, if you have a girlfriend or a sister
Mhm.
or someone in your family that you sense something's not right, how do we approach that? What do you suggest to the family member to help in that situation?
More of not not being critical and judgmental, because of course that'll make someone shut down even more, but focus more on how you're feeling in the situation. So if you're so say for instance for me, if my sibling is in some situation or some type of relationship like that, coming in kindly. Hey, I'm noticing this, and this, and it's making me feel such a way. It's making me feel uneasy. It's making me feel nervous. I am kind of worried about you. And how can I support you right now? So, not so much of coming down on, the whole, oh, you shouldn't be with him because he's doing such and such and he's hurting you and everything else, but more of just a support. How can I help you? How can I see you through this? Because I don't like the way that I'm feeling about what I'm viewing and what it is that I'm seeing.
So I know you spend a lot of time being in South Florida, and your clients are Caribbean, first and second generation Caribbean families. Is the conversation different? Why is that? a specific focus of yours? Where have you found that to lead you in your therapy sessions with that particular demographic?
So I started off doing community mental health, and working with a lot of families within the community. So going into the homes and learning from them. I noticed a lot, especially within the Caribbean cultures and Caribbean families, it's a lot of generations within one house. So my client could have been the adolescent that was born here in Miami, but I'm also dealing with her mom who came over when she was in the teens from Haiti, and her mom who just came over from Haiti. So it's all these different aspects in family. I would say not morals and values, but just like generational, oh my gosh, what is the word that I want to use? But like generational norms for them within the family that I had to learn to maneuver through, especially when it came to religion. I remember my first time being in a house in a Haitian American family's home, where at the beginning of the year, the mom she would do a fruit bath with the families, and valuing what they were doing. Of course, that's not my forte. Like I don't know anything about those type of rituals and stuff, but through that, I was able to learn more, and it was to bring fruits and labor to the family and joys and stuff. So it- I think it's very imperative when working with families to understand the cultural aspects behind everything, especially when you're dealing with so many different generations that have experienced different things. Even for me, my dad's from Jamaica, my mom's from Alabama, but I was born and raised here in Miami. So both of their experiences were completely different when it came to family upbringing and what what are our, like what are the things that we need to accomplish, and what are the things that they felt were they needed to accomplish compared to where we are right now.
Well, we're homegirls, right? We have a rivalry. You
Hmm.
went to Northwestern, and I went to Miami Central, the home of the Rockets. Um, and I'm a little bit older than you. And when I was a little girl, I remember vividly when the Cuban Americans, or the Cubans at the time, were coming over, because they look different, they talk different,
Hmm.
their hair type, uh, texture was different, really more like mine, because
Hmm.
my family at the very same time had just moved into the suburbs out of Liberty City, out of the urban core, more into the suburbs. And my sister and I graduated from the same high school, Miami Central. And when she was there, the demographics of the school was pretty Caucasian. But 7 years
Mm.
later, really 6 years later, we're 6 years in graduation date. Um, it had morphed to more African American and Hispanic. And I remember saying to my mom at that moment, "Who are these people, mom? They don't talk like us, but they look more like us," my mom and I.
Hmm.
So it is different. And I applaud you, because people who don't have the fortune, I would say, of diversity in that way and learning about the other cultures paint us all with a broad brush. They're all black, or they're all people of color. Well, we all
Hmm.
have cultures. We all have, like you said, rituals, religious norms, and they are as important to us as anybody's culture
Yeah.
and norms are. So for you to delve into that, I think that is amazing, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you, thank you. No, what you said, it brought me back to one of my Hispanic families, and every time I would go to see them and work with the family, they would always meet me with Cuban coffee, right? I used to love those sessions because they would set up with the Cuban coffee, but again, that was their family culture. So you're invited into the home, you're a part of the family. So they would set up a little a little board for me with all the little pastries and Cuban coffee, and we would just drink and talk and get to know each other and work through the challenges that the adolescent was going through. Because again, she was dealing with the same thing as well, trying to learn to assimilate within this culture now where she's not just a Hispanic, but they look at her like she's white and she's like, no, I'm not white. I'm not a Caucasian. I'm Hispanic. And then trying to, maneuver through those things. And with that family in particular, I had to get the buy-in from the grandmother, not even the mom or dad. So it was, it's just crazy amazing. And I'll say crazy amazing because culture plays an imperative point when working with families and understanding their view when it comes to mental health and finding a way that they're able to incorporate what they do know and learning new ways, like we've been saying, these new nuggets of change that can help to snowball into the overall change that we want to gain.
Representation matters. That's the bottom line. You want to see people that look
Mhm,
like you, that you can communicate to, and people that you trust, and people that you feel
mhm.
have an empathy and a concern for you. And family is so important to our
Correct.
communities. So that is important.
Mhm,
So we hear about mindfulness. Mindfulness.
mhm.
What is contained in that word of mindfulness? Help us unpack that.
Um, let's see. Mindfulness is just being intentional, and where you are directing your attention. Um, a little expert that I had was mindfulness is a reminder that there's a lot of joy that can be found in the now, and focusing on it can reduce our fears and worries about the past and future. Oftentimes, we are always planning for the future. We're reminiscing on what has or hasn't happened in the past, what we can do in the future, instead of just being present and allowing ourselves to just enjoy the current stance of where we are. Um, Another thing that comes up, especially when dealing with mindfulness, is enjoying the pleasant without holding on to when it can change or when it will change, and being with the unpleasant without fearing it will always be this way. So, how can we stay mindful in the thick of things, especially like if you are sad, if you are depressed, if you are anxious, if you're angry about something? How can you stay in the moment, in the present with that?
So, how do we incorporate this in our daily life? Again, we talked about resolutions and we set ourselves up almost
Mhm.
for failure because we want to lose 25 pounds. I'll raise my hand, but I want it done tomorrow. Tomorrow. I need it done tomorrow because I got a New
Mhm.
Year's party, New Year's Eve, that's tomorrow. So it just needs to be gone. Well, that's not realistic. So how do
Mm-mm.
we incorporate mindfulness in our daily lives, in our daily walk?
Okay, so some tips that I do give some of my clients is observe your life as it is happening, like an impartial witness. This means taking your life as it is, the good, the bad, and the in between, without judging your experiences or taking them personally. Think of your life as a story. So if it is that you're like, hey, listen, I do want to lose this weight for tomorrow. What about if it is that you just embrace who you are, how you look, and you go buy that bad dress that you've had in the cart or you've seen at the mall, and go ahead and put it on. Notice your thoughts and feelings, and no matter how chaotic they are, let them just be. Yeah, you could talk about yourself and put yourself down, but do you want to stay in that state forever? Or do you want to just enjoy what's going on now and put on that dress and go have fun with your friends and family? So don't judge yourself, especially if they are negative, and practice acceptance. So accepting all of your thoughts, remembering that right now it is temporary, and if you really do want to lose those 30 pounds, in that gym, getting that trainer, but you got to do the extra step. One thing my dad always said is we ask God, like there's this one story, he says, the guy asked God to win the lotto. And he was just like, come on, God, why can't I win the lotto? Why can't I win the lotto? And then finally God came down to him and said, but you have to go buy the ticket. So it's about you and what steps are you going to take so you can go ahead and reach those goals as well.
I love it. I love it. I love your quote. Would you share your quote by James Baldwin with us?
Oh my gosh, which one is it?
You
Oh,
say
the
I'll give you the quote.
and I sent it to you. Yes. I'm like, wait, which one is it? Oh Lord.
So, not
Where
everything that is faced can be changed,
changed. Yes,
but
yes.
nothing can be changed until it is faced.
Hmm.
That is so simple yet powerful. I think many times we just think, okay, if I just will it away, it'll go away. No, but if you face it, and I'm very spiritual, God will help you go through it. You just got to
Hmm.
believe and trust, but you got to face it. You got to do the work. And that's what I heard you say.
Hmm.
If I don't take anything else away, Gabby, about what you have shared with us today, is giving ourselves grace, but us showing up and doing the work. And, even if it's little bite size
Hmm.
moments that we spend being intentional.
Yep. And I always remind people that it's always the small changes, the little things that you do that you're moving into some sort of change, even by calling and inquiring about services. If you do want to start therapy and you even set up a consultation just to get information, that's a small change. You are going in the right direction. So it's okay. Be compassionate. Do one thing at a time. And learn to let go of control. That is a huge thing. Just learning that even if you're in a tight situation and having that faith that things will work out, you're in the space, you're in a place where God has put you. And I know there's been a new thing now that everybody's like, God, I just want the soft life. Don't give me no more trials and tribulations. I'm no longer your soldier. But I know that's a joke because you're always going to be that soldier and you're always going to be able to work through things. It's just maybe it's finding something different, doing something different. And again, it's those small changes. So it's even if it is just changing your mindset on this hard task, so that you can move forward. But it's small mindset changes, shifts.
Okay, Gabby, you hit something. I'm gonna let you go, I promise. But talk to that woman out there or whomever that is a controlling control freak. That's what they want to call us. But I am
Mhm.
that girl. I mean, it's like you just gotta have it done. I'll get it done. Just let me do it because I want it done right. So how do we have mindfulness? My husband is great. We are polar opposites. I am the one that's retired, but I'm the one like the Energizer bunny running around getting it all done. And he's taking Zen in the middle of the day. And I'm like, what are you doing? We got stuff to do. Blah, 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 blah. Give me the to give me my A personality the tip that I need to incorporate, not just for 2023. Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot right here, right now. Give me the tip.
Uh, whew. The biggest tip when it comes to us when we're trying to control and take over everything is, will it still get done if it's not just you? Learning to delegate, learning to step back, learning to give tasks to other people, and learning not to put so much on our plate. We often, and I think that just comes from our upbringing where we were the lock and key kids or the parentified children, where we did take care of our siblings and we took care of our parents from a younger age and so forth. But I think it's moving more into this soft life era that we're all speaking of, and allowing others to do stuff, allowing others to have a hand in the say on how we want things to go. Like, say, for instance, you're throwing a party for your friends or your sister or your cousin, and you're like, no, I want it this way, I want this, I want that. But the overall goal is for the party. So, what's wrong with your other sister taking care of the balloons and just letting them go ahead with it? It's more of just, I guess, take a step back and think about what is the overall goal, and do you have to do everything? Do you have to have your hands on all of it? And even if you take your hand off, will everything still flow and work out in the best way that it could? So,
Okay, I don't know. Hmm.
but we can definitely talk more about that. Look, we can
Yeah,
talk about that later
I need
on. Yes.
sidebar. I need sidebar. I need to come lay on that couch. I know it's back there somewhere. Sidebar
It's right
conversation.
here.
So, how do you fill your cup? I know you recently came back from vacation with your family. How does a therapist that pours everything into, I'm sure, your family as well as your community volunteer extraordinaire as well? How do you fill your cup?
I take breaks. I really do listen to my body. If I am tired, I take my naps. I have three kids, twins. They're 3-year-olds too. So those little girls are just, that's like a gymnastic circus over here. But I really do listen to myself. I take breaks. I try to do trips. I'll run away if I can, if I can. I do spa days, or even if it is, I take long showers and baths. I do a lot of resets, a lot of pauses. And the biggest thing, and that was my goal for this year, was boundaries and ensuring that I'm able to, not in a way to, disregard others or be disrespectful or whatnot, but just allowing others to understand, no, today is my day and I'll get back with you tomorrow, and being okay with that. I think that's the thing. A lot of times we don't do stuff because we're so privy in our minds of, oh, how are we going to hurt this other person, or how are we going to let this other person down, when if you just let them know straight up, like, listen, no, today is my day of rest, I'll get back with you tomorrow. um it's okay. And I think that's the big thing. It's okay for us to say, we'll get back with you tomorrow. So boundaries has been my biggest thing.
Well, that's a tip that I am definitely going to take from you, saying it's okay. And I think we should extend that across the board. It's okay even to not be okay, and
Hmm.
share that and show that with people so they understand, hey, I don't always have it together, but I am a work in progress. But it's okay for me to
Hmm.
take time to do that. So I'm listening to what you said and I'm going to incorporate that into my daily life as
Excellent.
well. Thank you so much for taking the time and not saying no to me when you sure could have coming back.
No, no, no.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. These are intentional exercises that we must. It's not optional. It's not just something we do because it's nice to do. We really have to be intentional about what we do, how we show up in this world. Because I believe what First Lady, our forever First Lady, right, Michelle
Hmm.
Obama, promoting with her new book, we are the light we carry, right? And someone
Hmm.
gave me that book. Do you have it there? Yeah, I have not
Right here.
start, right. If we have to be the light that we carry into the world. And if we can't
Yep.
show up whole, we can't show up present, we can't show up happy and healthy, how do we help others? How do we help
Hmm.
our loved ones, our children, our significant other, our spouse, our family, our girlfriends? How do we be that source and resource that everybody thinks we are if we're depleted. So we got to fill
Mm-hmm.
our cup, but we got to have the light inside of us. And in order to have that light, we must be what you say, intentional, and give ourselves grace.
Mm-hmm.
And give
Mm-hmm.
ourselves grace. Do you want to leave us with anything before we do our toast, our New Year's toast?
Uh-oh. Um, Show up and show out. That's the first thing
That's
that popped into my mind. And just be honest with yourself, and especially allowing yourself to have a little grace, especially during these times. Adjusting to everything. And then in the New Year's, allow yourself grace. Break down those goals into smaller chunks. So if it is that you want to save however much money, or you want to lose however much money, lose however much weight, just ensure that you're being slow, a little gentle on yourself. Allow yourself some grace, and go ahead and accomplish all those goals and all the things you want to accomplish. You'll be able to do it.
So buy that dress, maybe buy it in a size smaller, or just one little size smaller, and reach that goal and wear it and step out,
Hmm.
show out, and be your best self.
Yeah.
Mindfulness and becoming your best you in the new
Yeah.
year. Happy New Year, my new friend. Enjoy
Happy
all
New
life
Year.
has for you and all God has purposed in your life. And be the light that I know you are, and carry it forth in all the many blessed families that you talk to and in your community, and as you forward in this world. Thank you for being a part of the Sister Covenant.
No, thank you for having me. Cheers.
I like your cup. It's a little different. We can make it more reddish hue.
You mean a hot pink? A hot pink, maybe?
We are sisters at heart. Thank you, my dear. Cheers.
Yes, thank you. Cheers.
I love her already. A beautiful soul, beautiful woman doing God's work as she talks with families and especially new mothers and helps them to become whole. So look for Gabby Cares in South Florida. Google her and go in and talk with her. She will help you be intentional and be mindful about what's most important in your life. Sisters, we are off to an amazing year. We are off to empowering more women all across this country and beyond. So, as always, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, be vigilant. We are still living our best lives, but being intentional about it as we are still in a pandemic. But as always, be bold, be brave, be beautiful. You all are just all so blessed, and have an amazing 2023. Happy New Year.